Hello YouTube, Marauders here, and today we have the Sony MP-CL1 laser Pico projector. So this small little unassuming box I'm holding in my hands here, which is not much bigger than my Lumia 950 XL. This is actually a Pico projector, so it's those very small, highly portable projectors. So we'll have a look at and see how well it actually works. Now, if you look at the interface port side, we have here your usual USB charger interface. It's a micro USB in. You have a power button which doubles as a battery life check button. So you just press it, the blinks will tell you how's the battery life, and if you hold it, it will turn it on. Then you have a little rocker switch here which you can go just push it up, down, and push it in, so it's to control volume and do selection. You have a mini HDMI interface which is also MHL compatible. You have the volume, the headphone jack. Even though there's a little speaker in the projector, most likely you might want to have a volume out. And interestingly, you have a USB out. Now this USB out is, unlike other projectors, this USB out is not for you to plug in a media drive or anything, but in a pinch it's for you to use the projector as an external battery pack, which is an interesting option. The thing here is that if you're planning to use anything that requires USB power while you're connecting to the video out, that's actually not possible, because the moment you turn the projector on, the port stops delivering power, which kind of makes sense because you don't want to split the power of the projector, which is, well, as you can see later, Pico projectors are quite well known that they are not too bright, but so you shouldn't be wasting power from it anyway. Okay, so that's basically the external part of the projector. Now in the box, the MP-CL1 comes with a little stand. So Sony gives a little stand which you just either slot it in here in the front, so you can angle it. And the nice thing here is that even though you slot it in the front, and at first you think that it's blocking all your power and status lights, if you press the button, you notice that this thing is actually clear plastic, so you can actually see all the indicator lights. That's a nice touch. So you can either dock it into the front, or if you look from the website, you can actually just put it upside down and just use this to project straight onto the ceiling. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this, but yes, projecting onto the ceiling is an officially supported method from Sony. Okay. Now the other thing Sony was nice to give was a HDMI to mini HDMI adapter, so you don't have to go out and buy a mini HDMI cable if you don't have one already. And of course, Sony also provided a micro USB cable to charge the projector, but interestingly enough, they didn't give a power adapter in the box. So they pretty much assume that, hey, you already have plenty of USB chargers at home, and even on their website they stress that you should just use your phone's charger to charge the MP-CL1. Okay, so that's it. Let's get on to performance. Okay, now I've turned on the projector, and let's talk a bit about the system settings first before we move on to before I actually connect it to a HDMI source. Now the first thing you notice in the picture is that there's flickering right now. If you're seeing it, when you're seeing it, this flickering doesn't exist in real life. It's because of how the video recorder is recording the picture and how the laser creates the picture by running the scan line. So you can see that if I adjust the shutter speed of the camera, if I increase the shutter speed, and drop the exposure, you can see it, you can see the flickering occurring more, and if I bring it up, you can see it being less. But in any case, don't worry about it. I just wanted you to know that this flickering is just an artifact of it being recorded on by the camera. It doesn't actually flicker in real life. Okay, now a few interesting things that people usually has asked me before when I last reviewed a projector is, first of all, there is no zoom available on the MP-CL1. So to make the picture bigger, you pull it back. To make the picture smaller, you put it closer to the wall. That's it. That's the problem with these small little projectors. They don't have complicated lens assemblies for you to do zooming. So you want a bigger picture, put this thing further back away. But of course, this being a Pico projector, the further you are, the picture gets dimmer. So they're not very bright. I give you the measurements for size right now, but I can't remember, so you can check that out on their website. Okay, in any case, if for those of you who are interested, the MP-CL1 supports 2 keystoning presets, and it is able to do vertical and horizontal keystoning. So you can adjust the angle of the picture if your surface is tilted or something. Now the MP-CL1 can also be used to flip left right, so you can do rear projection. And there are some settings, your usual contrast, hue, saturation settings. There doesn't seem to be a way to turbo boost the brightness at the expense of battery life, if that's what you are wondering. And here's just some settings menu. I have no idea how they're supposed to run a software update, because the USB port they say is just for power, and that's just some information. Okay, now the MP-CL1 supports actually 2 types of video input. You can either use HDMI MHL, or you can do, or the projector itself has a mirrorcast receiver built in. So if your phone or your device supports mirrorcast, you can actually directly beam it into the projector. And one last thing to note about the MP-CL1 is that because it's a laser projector, notice that unlike other projectors, as I was moving the thing further and closer, if you're familiar with projectors, when you move a projector further away and closer together again, you will need to adjust the focus so that it focuses properly. But well, according to the product website, because it's using lasers, therefore you do not need to adjust the focus. It is always in focus. I don't know whether there's actually some autofocus happening here, but hell, that's cool. Okay, let's plug this guy in. Okay, so now I've connected the projector to my Xbox One, and let's take a look at how, let's just go through a quick look at how it looks and sounds. So sharpness wise, it's quite, the picture is quite sharp, resolution is very good. On the website they state that the resolution of the projector is 1920 times 720, so it's a very weird resolution, I must say, but it's HD, so I guess okay. Sharpness, the picture sharpness is very good. The quality is quite good for, I mean, it's a projector that's that small, but I would say that you are getting HD quality. You can get a pretty sharp image. And from the camera, I can see that you're hearing some sound from the projector, but I would say the speaker, I would say that the speaker from the projector, it can do its job in, let's say, a hotel room or somewhere quiet, But if you need to blast it out to a hall or something, most likely a large meeting room maybe, then you need to connect an external speaker to it. The internal speaker is, I say, it gets its job done. It can produce loud noises like explosions and stuff, but for very subtle sounds, it's very poor at it. Well, normally with a Pico projector like this, you worry that the picture isn't sharp or the resolution isn't very high, but with the MP-CL1, I would say that isn't a problem. The picture, I can see that it's very sharp, the color reproduction looks good, so it's not like any other cheap Pico projector that okay, there's no such thing as a cheap Pico projector. Okay, it's not like any other Pico projector I've seen before where they have a very low resolution like 640 by 480 or maybe even some 848 by 600 resolution. Yet the MP-CL1 has a really sharp image, so that's not your problem. What you should be worried about is the fact that this is still a Pico projector, and the main enemy of a Pico projector is light. Right now, I am running the Pico projector underneath a fluorescent tube, and the picture is actually quite washed out. Let me try and adjust the camera exposure so you can more or less see what I am seeing. It's about like this, yeah, I guess. And it's actually, when I look at it, it's a bit washed out. It's not as bright as it can be. And the projector right now is about it's about 75 centimeters from the wall. Granted, I'm not using an actual reflective projector screen. It's just a piece of white cardboard. So maybe if you have proper materials, it might be brighter. But the main thing here is that if you're not familiar with Pico projectors, you don't want to have ambient light. The less ambient light you have, the better. If I turn off my room lights now, it's a much better experience. In complete darkness, a Pico projector works very well because there's no other light fighting against the picture. The effect in complete darkness is very good without any additional lighting. Okay, now let's take a look at how exactly ambient light affects the picture of the Pico projector. Okay, so this is a light test for the MP-CL1. As you can see now, I'm indoors, so it's a shaded area. It's quite visible about here. So right now it's still in the morning, and when it's closed, of course, there's no problem. This is about, I guess, a meter. Still okay, and so on. So with shaded is fine. Let's see. Now I'm in the toilet, which is basically directly in the sun's way, and you can see that it's much worse now. So I put a white board there for it to catch the light, but as you can see, it's not visible. So as with most Pico projectors, the MP-CL1 is not for use in direct sunlight. So shaded is fine. But direct sunlight is a big no-no, as is the case with all Pico projectors. Okay, so Sony MP-CL1 laser Pico projector. So the verdict is, well, as quality wise and picture quality wise, this produces very good picture quality for something of its size. But the problem here is that it's still a battery powered Pico projector. So the main problem is when you're deciding whether you want to get this or not is that you have to consider whether the environments that you use it in, whether you can control the environments that you're using it in, so that you can make sure that the room isn't too bright and your environment isn't too bright, so that it overpowers the projector's image. Now, if you know that you can have a very dimly lit room, or maybe you're only going to project it in a dark room, yeah, you need the portability of something like this. Yeah, I would say the MP-CL1 is a very good product if that's your requirements. But for the most part, I would say that most people will hate the fact that it doesn't work in every ambient light situation, because it's really hard to say. Sometimes it might work in a room that's dimly lit, sometimes it might not work at all because maybe what you're projecting in can't reflect the light properly or something. It's very hard. That's always an issue with Pico projectors. I mean, one thing that I was surprised is that when you can run the projector with the power source plugged into it, I mean, one thing that surprised me was, for other Pico projectors that I had a chance to use, if you plugged in the power supply, the brightness will boost up a bit, but this one, the MP-CL1, doesn't do it. I wonder why. And of course, the other nice thing about this projector is that, other than the fact that it supports a pretty standard HDMI interface, you can also use mirror cards with it, which is what I've been using for my Lumia 950 XL. Other than that, yeah, it's a good projector. It's marked by the usual light requirements of a Pico projector. If you're okay with that, yeah, I suppose it's something that you can think about. I haven't seen a lot of these things that are so small and give such a nice picture. Okay, this is Marauders. I will see you all in the next video.